we have health, we have the human capital, we're at 59%. Just a quick glimpse, ladies and gentlemen, and I may not be able to do this much, but some of the projects which have been moving much of this line into the good percentage and achievements that we have. Very, very quickly, the SGR, Mombasa Naivasha, which is still also in process, the Nairobi Expressway, the Lamu ports, the 3 berths, and the associated projects. From the economic pillar, the deepened capital markets, that we have digital payment systems, the regional financial hub, and especially the special economic zones that we've had. In the social pillar, the healthy infrastructure, universal healthcare reforms which have been happening, the social protection funds, and growth of TVETs. Political pillar, we have discussed that. There is details for each flagship project program that we can actually offer the evidence of how this got to happen and where it is at this point. I want to quickly go through this so that you get to see some of the key components: political pillar, devolution, 89%, national values, governance, rule and law at 81% to get that aggregate. The enablers, pillars, we can see how we got that, and in each of that, we have the breakdown of the project underneath. The social pillar, again, you have the health right at the top with much of the reforms that we have had in the health sector. The economic pillar, do not want to go much into detail on that at this point, but the outcomes, and very, very key here, there has been outcomes in each flagship project that we do, and we've been tracking that. The real GDP growth, the target, like we said, was 10%. We have fallen short of that. It's been ranking between 4.5%, 4.6%. But nevertheless, as we know, and also our cabinet secretary has been talking much about this, we've been very resilient, and much of the reforms are kind of showing some of the good progress. One of my favorite indicators is the Human Development Index. The Kenya Vision 2030 has been about transformation, and the transformation is about which human being are you transforming and to what measure? What kind of prosperity is it? So the Human Development Index, we don't do it ourselves. The United Nations does it, and that's how we rank it. We are at 6 out of 1. We are doing good. Ladies and gentlemen, I will just jump over to a last one here to say this. The Vision 2030 has changed the country. It is evidence, it is not talk. Today, as we speak, we've been talking to the Kenyan people in the last 1 month or so, and to talk and to simply listen. And one good example that came up was very, very simple. Dangote today will not say he wants to go to Lamu and put in that sort of investment if it was not the Kenya Vision 20 LAPSET project which was done, for us to be believed outside of here, for it to guide policy, for it to have believability. And so through that, it's an example that we have across all other projects. Kenya is not just Kenya for us. Kenya is a place for the world because of our global location. And because of that, they need to see evidence of a plan, and I think this is what we have. And so, ladies and gentlemen, just to finish, on our end and our call to you has been to simply have the discussion or begin a discussion or beyond 2030. The Constitution calls that we do that. Our calendar tells us that we do that. And the time is now between the month of July and August. So we're very, very happy that we get to start this process together. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much. To Bwana Emmanuel Nzai, the chair of the Kenya Vision 2030 Delivery Board. Now it was just a snapshot, and it's information that we have available publicly and will be able to digest as we continue, because it then informs the next steps that we will be taking. And the next steps, speaking of which, I'd like now to call on the one of the vision bearers in this respect. And for this, I'd like to say karibu sana to His Excellency Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, who's the governor of Kisumu County, but in this context, chairs the Vision Development Technical Committee, who will now give us a quick look at where we're looking to head as a nation and starting this conversation. Let's give a hand to Professor Nyong'o as he comes, and then he'll be followed by the young 7-year-old Adrian Gweth in a bit. Karibu sana. Makofi kwake akija kwa the rostrum as he approaches, just to give us his quick look at the future we aspire to.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to discuss a very important subject. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Excellencies, Governors, distinguished Cabinet Secretaries, Members of Parliament, representatives of the private sector, academia, faith-based organization, and civil society, distinguished guests, our dear friend, Dr. Hino, Professor Hino, who has been with us for a week now and who knows Kenya very well and has been working with us very closely on visioning the development of Kenya. Thank you very much, Prof, for coming. We gather here today for an extremely important occasion in national duty. We are here to begin a national conversation on Kenya's development goals for the next few decades. Collectively, here and in all parts of this country, in the days to come, we want to build for the future. To build for the future, we must have a clear view of the future that we desire and commit ourselves to building it, block by block, until we achieve it. Many of us here today in this audience are perhaps asking themselves why this conversation is necessary at this time. Why now? There are 3 compelling reasons why this conversation should take place at this important time. First, our country has been guided by Vision 2030 as its long-term development plan since 2008. Implemented through successive 5-year medium-term plans covering the period 2023 to 2027, remains anchored on Vision 2030. But what happens after 2027? This is where medium-term plans becomes important. If Kenya simply develops another 5-year plan without first agreeing on the country's long-term destination beyond 2030, our planning process risks becoming another cycle of programs and projects without a sufficiently clear national direction. Vision 2030 was intended to transform Kenya into a newly industrializing middle-income country, providing a high quality of life to all its citizens in a clean and secure environment. With 2030 now just around the corner, it is necessary to take stock of how far we have so far come. Some of the challenges that Vision 2030 was designed to address have been substantially addressed, while others remain unresolved or become more complex. At the same time, Kenya now faces new challenges that were largely non-existent when the vision was conceived. In a global and regional environment that has changed fundamentally since the vision was unveiled more than 2 decades ago. It is therefore necessary to begin planning for the period beyond 2030 and allow sufficient time to formulate our new long-term development goals through an inclusive, consultative, and participatory process in keeping with the constitutional requirement for meaningful public participation. Secondly, the context in which Kenya operates, both domestically and within the regional and global arena, has changed significantly since the implementation of Vision 2030 began in 2022. Kenya now has a younger and increasingly urbanized population, creating growing demand for infrastructure, energy, housing, and social amenities. Regionally and across the continent, Kenya also faces increased competition, including from neighboring East African community countries, as nations pursue greater economic, infrastructural, and technological competition. The global competitive environment is therefore far more intense than it was in Vision 2030, when Vision 2030 was launched. Kenya cannot afford complacency. Sustained investment, innovation, competitiveness, and strategic foresight are essential to ensure that the country does not fall behind. Globally, we are faced with new realities in economic and political fragmentation of the multilateral system established after the Second World War. Geopolitical tensions have brought crisis to our land in ways we have never envisaged. It is high time we began a conversation on how we escape the disruptions, such as developments in the decades abroad. Thirdly, we have learned valuable lessons from the implementation of Vision 2030 that we need to apply in thinking about and implementing new long-term development vision for this country. Vision 2030 has guided us to some measure of industrialization, political stability, modern infrastructure. There is more to be done to enable us to transition to a high-income, high-value, resilient economy whose wealth is broadly shared among the citizens. There have been fair assessment of successes and challenges of implementation of Vision 2030 done by various state and non-state actors. Some of these assessments have gone further to attribute the limited achievement of Vision 2030 to certain explanatory factors, including but not limited to inadequate financial resources and a weak capacities for coordination and supervision of implementation. We will hear more of these perspectives in the course of this day and in future conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me at this point spell out a key feature of this conversation. First, it must remain a national and an inclusive conversation about Kenya. Despite the fact that general elections are due in just about a year, this conversation is not about the next general elections. Indeed, one of the lessons that Kenya must learn from the countries that achieved socioeconomic transformation in recent history, in Asia, for example, is that long-term development goals must not be disrupted by electoral cycles and the political leadership that such elections bring up from time to time. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to note that we do not have a plan yet at this time, except for some guidelines on how to produce it. This meeting is therefore the first step in a journey that must not be rushed. Let us give ourselves reasonable time to have an inclusive conversation among Kenyans regarding the future of our nation. Let us join this national conversation with open minds and a shared sense of purpose to imagine and craft our collective future as one Kenyan people and build consensus on how best to achieve our national goals for shared prosperity. Thank you very much.
Mashallah, msijifanye kama hamkunywa chajio ama hamkunywa kishakinwa. Hakukuwa na breakfast upande wa pili? Kwa mayo, hakukuwa na breakfast upande wa pili? Asante sana Prof. Asante sana Profesa Nyang'nyong'o pamoja na wenzake, ndo wale ambao walitufikisha hapa tulipo Vision 2030. Lakini ni jukumu lako, wewe mkulima, wewe mwalimu, wewe mama mboga, wewe mfanyibiashara ya wastani na ile kubwa, ni jukumu lako wewe wakili, na ni jukumu langu Melody Sinzore kuhakikisha kwamba tunaboresha Kenya ya kesho na kesho kutwa. Na ndio maana tunaliendeleza hili, na nimesema ndio mwanzo tumelianzisha na litaendelea sana. Kuna mtoto mdogo ambaye tunajua wana akili nyingi sana, anaitwa mtoto Adrian Gweth. Najua wengi wenu katika umri huu wa miaka 7 mngeambiwa msimame mbele ya pastor, wacha rais. Mngeambiwa msimame mbele ya mtumishi wa Mungu. Wangapi wangesimama? Mwajifanya kwa sababu rais yupo. Hamngeweza. Lakini kuna mtoto hapa ambaye anakuja kutuelezea pia yake mawili matatu. Kenya tunayoitengeneza ni Kenya ya mtoto kama huyu. Huyu na wenzake ambao wanaishi katika ulimwengu wa mitandao, ambao wakiingia online wanasema mbona lile taifa wanafanya vile? Mbona sisi hatuna hilo? Akiingia mtandaoni anasema mbona wale wanafanya hivi biashara na sio sisi? Lakini hapa tulipo, tunapolianzisha hili, tuna uwezo wa kumpa mtoto Adrian pamoja na wenzake Kenya hiyo. Tutaweza, hatutaweza? Na kwa pamoja, this is a symbolic way ya kumpeleka mtoto kwa Kenya ya kesho na kesho kutwa. Watu wazima jamani, tumshabikie mtoto. Mashallah. Asante sana. Anaitwa Adrian Gweth. Take it away, baba.
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Adrian Gweth Ombuni. I am 7 years old. In 2060, I will be 41 years old. My dream for Kenya, I would like to see good school for all children, good hospital for everyone, clean water for every home, clean roads everywhere, more jobs for young people, happy and safe families, clean towns and cities, more trees and green spaces, our animal protected, peace in Kenya. Mr. President, I want to grow up in a happy and safe Kenya. I want Kenya to be a country where every child can dream and achieve their dreams. Thank you, Mr. President. God bless you.
Wow, wow, wow. Jamani wazazi, simnigawe huyu. Asante, asante. Thank you so much. Mark?
Yes. That is a leader. That is a leader. Thank you to Adrian Gweth. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would like to call on someone also who's taken up the throes of leadership in his own aspect and respect. The young lad is called Ahmed Rashid. He is a president at the University of Nairobi and, of course, taking up leadership and speaking to the future that he aspires to achieve together as a nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Rashid Ahmed.
Thank you, thank you. The President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, Speaker of the National Assembly, if he is present, Speaker of the Senate, Cabinet Secretaries, senior government officials from all the 3 arms of government, student leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. I want to take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this event for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the young people of Kenya. This is a golden opportunity, and I know the drafters of this vision will agree with me that the vision of Kenya beyond 2030 is already at the implementation stage. Already there is the implementation of youth inclusion in leadership and governance. I'm facing this side because I'm told this is a conversation. Therefore, I should not make a speech. Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to say that many young people, including myself, were not part and parcel when the Vision 2030 was being launched. But I am as well a beneficiary of the Vision 2030, the free primary education, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, I represent a generation, the young people of Kenya, who not only question, but are as well ready to provide solutions and suggestions. Comrades, power! We will not only question, but we will as well provide solutions and suggestions. Your Excellency, in Kenya and Africa at large, the majority population consists of young people. Therefore, we should see this as an advantage. I want to make a commitment on behalf of the young people that we will be at the forefront. We will be the drivers of the vision of Kenya beyond 2030. This is not about government. This is not about young people or the old people. It's about Kenya. Leaders come and go, but Kenya will remain. Comrades, power! We are already on the right direction. Your Excellency, 2 months ago, I was in South Africa, and I was really shocked to see that many people in South Africa were working with physical cards and cash. I was like, kwani nyinyi hamna M-Pesa? Kitu naitwa M-Pesa. Something similar to M-Pesa. I was really shocked. The digitalization of our mobile banking is something that we are really proud. So we are already there. We are already there. All we need is just to make it a dream and a realization. Singapore, tutafika. Sisi, wote. Your Excellency, and I will read this in verbatim. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, this is a great conversation where the energy and the aspiration of young people like myself meet the wisdom and the experience of leaders like Your Excellency, the President. It is a conversation that goes beyond 2030, focusing on the future of our nation and the role of young people in shaping it. This is undoubtedly one of the most inspiring conversations for Kenyans youth. Our commitment is reflected in your appointment of our youngest Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs, P.S. Fikrini Jacobs, a clear demonstration of your confidence in young leadership. After more than 12 years, we are finally seeing the renewed hope with the long-awaited National Youth Council elections coming in October. Therefore, Your Excellency, I'm ready to drive this vision, me as an individual, and the young people at large, so that we be part and parcel of this. And we are ready, and I am ready, me myself, I'm ready to lead the young people of this great republic. Your Excellency, niko na salamu kutoka University of Nairobi. I know you're alumni 001. So leo walisema, lazima nikusalimie, nisitoke bila kukusalimia. Pia niko na salamu kutoka the students from all the universities in Kenya. The students, leaders specifically, some have traveled all the way from Turkana, Lodwar, Homa Bay, Garissa, Mandera, and they are here to witness the launch of this vision. I heard someone saying that when someone is meeting the president for the first time, they usually cry. So I have just carried my handkerchief just in case. Your Excellency, The future of Kenya is young, a digital Kenya, and a Kenya whose growth must reach every town and every village. I come from a constituency called Ijara in Garissa County, and I want to imagine a future where someone do not necessarily travel to Nairobi, maybe, let's say, to access a certain service. So urbanization, as one of the pillar in this vision, must also be considered. Your Excellency, I want to thank you sincerely for including youth in your leadership. Thank you so much once again for this vision, the vision that you have imagined way even beyond your lifetime. 30 years from now, I will be your age, but you'll be at a very old age. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you so much, everyone, and God bless Kenya. Comrades, power!
Asante sana. Let's give a hand to the young leader. And I'm sure he wants to steal a picture with the president. This is the only opportunity you have, sir. Well, not. The conversation continues, so I'm sure the president will be sitting with many across the country, coming to you where you are, and will be able to interact in person and get your feedback directly from you, from whichever stakeholder body that you represent. Academia is also represented here. Speaking of which, I'd like to call on Professor Hiroyuki Hino, who has held great positions in terms of the outlook of the economy, whether it's in Asia or in Africa. And he has a lot to lend in terms of reflections of what we can not just aspire, but actually realize and live. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Professor Hiroyuki Hino.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, distinguished guests, Thank you. I'm most grateful for this opportunity to speak with you at this conference, which launches a nationwide consultation to forge consensus on a vision beyond 2030. Your Excellency, I'm deeply gratified that you continue to honor a conversation you had with the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga only a few weeks before his untimely departure. Immediately after that conversation, the former Prime Minister called me. He was full of hope. He said, the Prime Minister said, President Ruto and the former Prime Minister had agreed that it was imperative to take a fresh look at where Kenya stood. How difficult it was for ordinary Kenyans to earn a decent living, how government could help them better. Your Excellency, you and the Prime Minister agreed that Kenya needed a bold vision that would inspire and unite all Kenyans, irrespective of their political or ethnic affiliation. The vision should be prepared by experts who are independent of government and trusted by the public, and with full participation of all stakeholders. For this purpose, Your Excellency, you decided to reconstitute the National Economic and Social Council as an independent body. It was indeed a special privilege to be included in that conversation, Mr. President. Thank you. For Ryder's legacy, and as a Kenyan at heart, I'll be honored to assist Kenya in this endeavor. Your Excellency, I'm told that many Kenyans are skeptical. They believe that Singapore is too high a target